And
Go ahead.
I'm the project manager for the improvements to Edna Bynoe Playground. And I want to start by saying that I am so excited to be working on this project because she was such an incredible lady, an incredible community activist. It's an honor to be part of this effort to continue her vision and contribute to the neighborhood. I also want to thank everybody for their time tonight. We know that your time is valuable and we appreciate your sharing it with us. So I'm going to run through the introductory information and then hand it over to our design consultants. So what we're going to do is have the presentation and then have question and answer at the end. So in order to do that, just raise your hand, click on raise hand. And if you have questions that you want to ask during the presentation, we'll address them at the end, but you can click on Q&A. So if you're joining by phone, you can hit *9 to raise your hand and *6 to unmute or mute. We're going to introduce the team. I'll do the project interview, and then our design consultants will do the presentation, and all together we'll do the listening and discussion and the closing remarks and next steps. But what the purpose of this meeting is to hear what you have to say about the playground and what your sense is of the opportunities and issues and what you'd like to see stay the same and what you'd like to see change. So as I said, I'm the project manager and I can be your main contact, and any information that you give me, I'll pass along. Christine Brandeo is with us. She's the outreach coordinator for parks, and she's managing the meeting. Jay Sean Gant is with the Office of Neighborhood Services and was kind enough to help me reach out to the appropriate people about these meetings. And then our design team is BSC Group, and Ricardo Ostrich is the, Ricardo, I'm not sure what to call you.
You can just call me the manager of landscape architecture.
Okay.
How about
And
that?
Michael Kluckman is the project manager, project landscape architect, and he's going to be doing the bulk of the presentation.
Yeah, that works.
So we're going to have 3 community meetings. As I said, this first one is really a listening session. We'll have a second one over the summer where we'll show design alternatives. And then in the fall, we'll have the third and final meeting showing the preferred design. And that preferred design might take elements of any of the alternatives and sort of mash them up. Then over the fall and winter, we'll put together the construction documents after finalizing the design. And we're hoping to bid in the winter and then start construction in the spring with a summer 2022 anticipated opening. So I know it's painful to lose the playground over the summer. We need to keep the site secure because construction sites aren't safe, but that also gives us even more incentive to make sure that what we wind up is worth that interruption. So when we think about how to design these parks and playgrounds, we think about the City of Boston initiatives. We think about safety guidelines, which is really important to us, and environmental regulations. We think about the Parks and Recreation Department goals and community input. And you put all of those things together, and that should lead to a long-lasting and effective park design. So the city overall initiatives are access for all ages and abilities, equity, climate resiliency, health, and building community. The Parks and Recreation Department goals are to make the parks and playgrounds accessible and available to all, to provide diverse, balanced and efficient mixes of uses, to perform meaningful and inclusive community engagement, to create adaptive and resilient landscapes and promote connections. So I'm going to hand it over to Michael at this point, and then we'll get back together for the listening and discussion.
Thank you, Annie. It's Michael Putchman, Project Manager, Landscape Architect for the BSC Group. And just wanted to locate everybody to the Edna Bynoe Playground as part of the larger Orchard Park, and sort of walk through the proximity to other parks and community spaces. So it's an important playground in that there's a Clifford Playground some distance away, and then Ramsey Park up to the north. But this playground does serve a significant area neighborhood that's beyond the playground in the area at the Orchard Garden School. We did also want to point out the Orchard Garden School in the same area, as well as the Boys and Clubs Girl as other community spaces. Now to sort of get closer to our site, there's a view from above of the playground and the site conditions. So here we are between Du Bois Street, Adams Street, and Keegan Street. The tennis courts, basketball courts, and the sports fields, all of Orchard Park, and the school is off to the left. So our project is concentrated in the colored area, primarily around the existing playground, water, and sand play areas, but also our site does take into consideration the walkways around the existing playground and some of the green spaces as well. So, as we develop design options and see how far our budget can go, we may decide we want to rearrange a little bit of how this end of the overall park works. But in general, this is our area around the existing playground that we're looking at. We've noted that there's the main entrance near the existing playground and sand play and water feature areas off of Adams Street, but there's also a major park entrance at the corner of Du Bois and Adams Street, where you come into the corner of the park and either go on to some of the sports fields and other areas, or it's adjacent passive area next to the playground that we're going to look at. And again, this meeting, as Annie said, is to listen, to understand how the park is used now, what's working, what's not working. But we just wanted to put some pictures up here, and we can come back to them later when we're having a discussion. But just noted different things. Here's the upper left corner is the existing climbing structure at the playground. It's seen its time. This is the entrance that would come off of Adams Street. To the right is that entrance I was talking off of Adams and Du Bois, the corner there, looking back at the playground in the distance. Bottom left is the existing water play area with the two water features again, who have seen better days. And the bottom right is the existing swing areas with the toddler swings and the swings for older children, and the loose fiber surfacing mixed with some of the resilient surfacing. And again, these are details, but we're looking at things like what's under the current swings and how this is put together. Right now, you have a combination of the resilient surfacing, the rubberized surfacing right under the swings, and then the fiber surfacing. So when a new playground, when it gets renovated and redone in Boston, and if you've seen other playgrounds with them recently, it's all a consistent, smooth, resilient surfacing. So we no longer have these loose fibers here. In addition, some of the slopes here, you'll see the idea is that we want a playground that's universally accessible. So anything that would be a barrier to moving through the space, we would eliminate in a new design. Similarly, there's the similar condition at the bottom of the existing slide. There's some safety issues. There needs to be a distance in a new, when you build a new slide to any obstruction. So we would make sure there's enough distance at the end of a slide so there's no issue with safety when we have this curb or fence. In addition, we're thinking about how the playground may change. We do want to note that right now, the existing playground, one of the things that's nice about it is it's visible from in the playground to the streets around and from the streets. So there's good visibility and safety all around the playground, and we want to preserve that aspect. And then we're also looking at, again, we talked about some of the open areas that are not currently playground in a traditional sense, but are these open grass areas. We do see values in that they're great unprogrammed space where children can run and climb and play around on natural grass or surfaces that aren't specific equipment. And we want to preserve that as well. Some more details, the existing sand play structure, the shade, the idea of having shade within the playground is something we want to find out if that's desirable. It seems worth considering. The sand play itself, we've been told is not something the city will continue, mostly for health and safety and sanitary reasons. It's just not feasible to maintain something in a safe condition for sand play. So that feature will be discontinued. There is a thought in the budget for replacing and improving the existing water play, because we know that's usually a very popular feature. We can show you some options very soon about what that might look like. And we just know, the existing drinking fountain, it's something we may work around, preserve, or definitely have a feature for providing drinking water. So again, tonight is about listening. If there's playgrounds of that you like, we want to hear about it. Features you want, ideas is what we really want. So we put images up here, not to tell you this is what you're getting, what you have to like, what exactly you have to choose tonight. It's more just to show you different ideas of what could be. But again, it's just, if there's something here that you like, we'd like to hear about it. But again, it's just to sort of spark ideas. This first slide is a combination of pictures. Most have to do with climbing, sliding, or, in this case on the upper left is the idea of more natural looking mounds for climbing, running around in either grass or, in this case, this is a artificial grass hill in Washington Square Park in New York City, primarily because over time these get a lot of wear. So visually it blends into the surrounding green area of the park, but it allows a sort of safe, durable surface that doesn't get compacted and worn away. So it's an option. This slide has to do with water play. One thing that the city has found very successful is water jets that come from the ground. So there's not a lot of above ground things that can get damaged, or, it's easier to maintain. But where the jets are, how high they are, and how they're orchestrated to go on and off, there's something that can be custom designed and thought about, so that there's fun and unexpected water coming up at different times. How the water gets turned on, there's options. There's things that can be stepped on, or in this case, in the bottom left, what you're seeing is an activator. So it's not actually a water feature, but it's a button that the children or an adult can start the sequence of the jets opening up and closing. On a day like today, this seems like a great thing as we think about a hot summer. And finally, this slide, again, for inspiration, is about things that move. So we have our traditional swings in the upper right, similar to what's there now. Thing about swings is, for safety, they require a large area around each swing, so they take up a lot of area per swing. So there are some, beyond the traditional swings, there's some other options we're showing on the top in the bottom left here. So the idea is that some of these swings can accommodate more than one rider, one child at a time, but also some of these designs are very unique in that because they're low, wide swing platforms that don't have obstructions, they are accessible. So somebody who's disabled in a wheelchair can come over, and then they can be transferred onto a swing such as this one, the bottom left or the top left. And so it provides a accessible option for somebody who's disabled to use as well. So there's a lot, they're very flexible in that way. And again, I was talking about the space they use up, because you can have more than one rider. You get a lot more children enjoying a smaller area, so you can, pack other features into your playground. Also on this slide are things that spin, that are not a huge scale, so they're can be for different age groups. And then things that swing back and forth or bounce, not the traditional seesaw, but something like that. And the one thing I wanted to mention is that the other thing we'll look at in new park design, there's an example, is that there's the idea that we want to provide areas for different age groups, typically an area of 2 to 5 year olds. It's scaled to appropriately for that age group, and then other features that are more appropriate from ages, maybe say 5 to 12. So one, you don't have the bigger kids maybe knocking over little kids, but also even the equipment is scaled for their sizes and abilities. So that's an overview. Again, we're looking for ideas, and I'm gonna, I think, hand it over back to Annie and Christine to start the discussion.
Thanks, Michael. Christine, did we get any comments during the presentation?
No, actually one just popped up. Dulcie said, the structures look attractive, colorful, able to be used, may a number of kids, by a number of kids, I'm assuming she meant to say, at one time. Yes, by many, by many number of kids at one time for a range of age groups, water play area, with safe ground sensor, and sensor for water play.
And Dulcie, you're the Dean of Students at Orchard Gardens, right?
I can unmute her.
Okay.
Dulcie, if you want to unmute yourself, you can speak.
Okay, the whole time I was like, this is a weird Zoom. I've never seen
It's
this.
a webinar style, so you can see us, but we can't see you.
Oh, okay. I was like,
I would be able to unmute you. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, I am the Dean of Students at Orchard Gardens, but I also live about couple of blocks away from there. So I actually live in the community and work at OG. So I love that I'm onto this, and those pictures got me really excited because we don't even use that structure, that the playground, that much. And it's sad because there's such a big, huge space there and it's not used. And it just doesn't look attractive, you know? And I'll tell you, I'm from the neighborhood. You hardly see kids in there is another thing. It's either like a sports team using it for something. But I think if it looked inviting, like, I'll be honest with you, my children go to school in Brookline. So here we are going to Lars Anderson Park or using their campus, which is on acres of beautiful outdoor grass. And there's really not much there, but it's beautiful, you know, it feels beautiful. So I think being attractive and welcoming is going to be one key thing for it. I think that would definitely bring the people in. The kids are definitely in the neighborhood, I can tell you that. So it's kind of sad that you don't use it.
They'll say, where do the kids play?
So we have a small playground on our like campus, and we have a just like a paved area that has nothing that we either do Foursquare and play. So the kids technically don't go there, and I don't know really why. You know, I know we've used it in the past for like field days and different special occasions, maybe if you put permission slips to hold a class there. But I don't know, sometimes it's just, what are they gonna do? The park is way far down from us. So, you know, where the play structure is kind of far from us. One thing I was thinking too is like, I think it's so big, it would be nice if it had like a walking path that, you know, people in the neighborhood could just stroll as an exercise. I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that you're gonna hear a lot from me because I'm one of those, like, I'm not going anywhere else. I'm staying right in my neighborhood. And I'm like, I need those things here for us and for our kids. So it's kind of hard. Like the park right beside Mason School, Clifford Park, they just fixed that up, which is nice because you don't want to go there and look through wood chips before you let your kids go play. It's better when it's a safe, clean tarp that's safe and you could just look and see if it's clean and everything. So I think now that it looks a little more safer and more attractive, people will use it. But yeah.
Yeah, I work at 1010 Mass Ave. So I absolutely hear what you're saying about Clifford.
Mhm.
And we are so glad to have your thoughts and comments because you're a double whammy, being a resident and involved in the school. So that's terrific. And we welcome what you have to say.
Yes. So like for me, I was thinking of something, but I wasn't sure like how to ask. Like our kindergarten class has designed a playground before of things that they would like in a playground. I was
Great.
like, I should think of like, should I share that with them? Just of thinking of those things because it's true. Like you don't get to get your input, or you go other places and see nice things like, oh, I wish we had that. So I like that we're actually doing this because it would be nice to make that more attractive in a place that we could use.
I would welcome getting the design that the kindergartners did before. And where are your kids in Brookline?
They go to the park school.
Oh, okay. Okay. So that is a really great playground. And also the playground at Lars Anderson is older, but that was renovated at a number of years ago to make it accessible.
Mhm.
And I came to Boston a year and a half ago from Brookline. So if there are things that you see in Brookline parks that you think would be helpful here and popular, that would be great.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
Is it, I've got a question. So I love that idea of that your kids designed a playground. Yeah, you should definitely share it with us because I think kids always have such a freedom of expression, and that's such an inspiration, you know, as park designers for us to see that, because that can really kind of really fuel our imagination. And I really like what you said about making it inviting. Is right now, is it not? I'm curious about, because you know, I live in Boston and Rosendale, but I'm curious about, like, do you think it's because it's not attracting kids because there's no water play right now, or what do you
So
think is?
I definitely think the water play would be a big thing. I think that would be a good hit for it. I think the other thing is that the structures are, everything is like one solid color, kind of, you know, it just all blends in. It doesn't stand out. Like when you look at that lime green and you see the netted thing, you're like, ooh, let me try that. It looks like your traditional, like, I had to put a park here and I just gave you the bare minimum. You know what I mean? I think it needs to have that, as you, in one of the slides that was shown, there's like a slide, but also a climbing feature that you can see many other kids can take turn, and you don't have to like wait your turn or stay back. I think of it on a dean perspective too, as an educator. You want it to welcome a group of kids and not make it limited to, I can only let 3 kids play here right now. They already do everything that way, you know? So that one makes it more freely. The thing being bigger, it just looks more welcoming. The green grass, that's another thing. I feel like there is a lot of shaded area, but the green grass, it's like not purposeful. If there was a walking trail that you can, you know, get on, like for me, I can't take away recess from the kids, but I'd be like, okay, we're gonna walk and we're gonna observe what the other kids are doing and tell me what's different from what you're doing. So to me, that's a walking thing. But if I had a walking trail, that'd be nice. I see a lot of people walking with their dogs or cutting off. If there was a little area for dogs, like, I'm not trying to be rude when I make this comment right now, but I was born and raised in this neighborhood. Like, my grandfather owned the 2 brownstones on Dudley and Adams Street, like way back in the 80s. Like, I am an Orchard Park kid. And I live behind St. Patrick's Church currently. That's where my dad's lived my whole life. But methadone miles effects come up this way. You see it in there. Like, I have to go check the yard if there's needles or clothing or stuff like that. If the gates were a little higher, you know, it was lit different, that people didn't have a place to be secluded and it was lit properly, that would make parents feel more comfortable. Like, I would feel more comfortable taking my kids there. Like, I hate that I leave my neighborhood because I'm like, at Lars Anderson, they don't do that. They won't even this wouldn't even happen in their dog park, you know? So that's the kind of thing where I feel like we need to set that standard too. And I mean, to keep the park safe, it's nothing big as asking for a detail, you know? It's simple as that. We have a school police, but I think if it looked inviting, more people would use it and have it. Like, the things that kids really want. Like today, water play would be amazing. Like, if I could have had my teachers like make a permission slip, today we were gonna go to the water fountain, I would love that. So like, yeah, if it's safe, that I know that they can go play there, they're not going to get hurt. The ground is that soft thing. Like, I go to a park by the Museum of Science. It's across the street. Cambridge College had a campus there, but they have like this water play that's by sensor. So it senses when the kids are on it, and then it starts pushing water, but the floor's soft. They have like these spinning things that you can stand on. It's all very open and safe. And I mean, at least 25 kids can be on that thing with no problem. So something like that would be nice. Yes.
Mama,
And I have someone that's just mama and me.
for the
I can also open it up for the rest of the group to ask questions.
Yeah, sure,
since
go.
we don't have that many.
Oh my God, look at that. Yes. Yeah,
So,
I
if
told
anyone
everything.
wants to mute themselves, they can.
This- What you said was, I think, really resonates with me. I think part of the reason I think Michael mentioned is, the sand thing. We want to eliminate that because that is a real hazard with needles and stuff. So definitely getting rid of that is really important.
And we want to make sure we have our input.
Yeah. Hello?
Yeah.
Yes, hi, this is Lisa Hall. I am Vice President of the Orchard Gardens Resident Association along with Val Shelley. Unfortunately, Val was not able to get on the call tonight. She was having an issue with the Zoom. But we want to make sure that we are part of, we give our input on the design and how the park looks and how everything is going to work out. So I do have Val on the phone with me currently. So she wanted to just say she's sorry she couldn't make it, but we definitely want to be a part of, the redesigning of the park.
Can she can call in, Christina, do you want to, she can call in too to participate in the Zoom.
Yeah, of course.
You want to give her that number?
Yeah, I can. Lisa, you ready to take down the number?
Val, do you have a pen?
I can hear her.
She can hear me.
So
Go
it's
ahead.
646
Is what?
616.
646
Oh, 646
558
558
8656.
8656.
And then the ID number she needs to put in is 827
You ready for the ID number?
Yeah, 827.
827, yep.
7735
7735
0045.
0045.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna hang up. You can call in. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So she's gonna call in and
Hopefully she got all those numbers. Yeah, that'd be great, because I think the more input we can get to make this really kind of a real feature, it's terrific that, you
yes,
get there and you want people to use it, but want them to feel safe. And it's a great location.
exactly. The park is well overdue for a makeover. I know they did the tennis court portion, and I know that they play a lot of baseball on the opposite side, closer to the school in that field area. But our kids are not getting reaping the benefits of needs to really be fixed, and that's the park itself. So this is excellent. This is great. I'm so excited about it.
Well, we're thrilled because given the warm weather, we're really happy that you guys are all excited to be on the call, because sometimes it's hard to get folks to.
I've been on the call. I've been listening to you guys. I just actually I was the one typing in to let you guys know that
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
to get on. It says Eric, but it's actually Lisa.
Lisa, also,
Russell actually had a comment. He said, I like the design in green space. The developmentally appropriate equipment, of course, is very important. The water park will be a draw for sure. Also, limiting space for adults to congregate is a plus if possible.
Nice.
So by
Hey, guys.
limited, Russell, yeah, can you elaborate on that a little more, please?
Yeah, so just so you know, I'm close with Duce, Lisa, Val.
Good.
I run the Boys and Girls Club there. Hey guys. So yeah, so it's just the idea of the park is great. It's something that we've wanted in the community for years. It's just there's always that chance that there's places where adults will congregate when the kids aren't there anymore, or when their kids are there. So it's more, I always think about safety first. So just places where adults wouldn't be able to, do things that they shouldn't be doing, I guess, or stay overnight, or leave remnants of things that kids don't need to be seeing. So I guess kind of less like benches for adults. Anytime there's not shade, there's going to be people there regardless. But I'm just thinking about overnight, and then we want to use the park in the morning, and we always do sweeps, but it's kind of limiting the possibility of how adults could congregate there. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys.
Oh, it's a huge amount of sense. I think it's a real issue. I mean, I think I think you've just you've expressed it really well. No, that's a total sense. And I was just thinking, do we like put little mini benches so like adults can't, I mean, sort of,
Right.
we'll have to think of creative ways of, because you always think about when you're a playground designer, it's like you think of like a mom or dad watching their child play, but then this is great to hear that. Well, the backside of that is that there's folks who then when mom or dad and the kids are gone, it's nighttime, they use everything, it can be used for other things that are inappropriate for that space.
Yeah, something that just popped in my head would be, smaller benches, instead of a bench that's maybe 6 feet long, maybe something that's
right
3 feet that can fit maybe a father and son there, I think
there's a lot of variety in site furniture now that there didn't used to be. And we've learned some things about site furniture that can discourage people from sleeping. Just if you do want a longer bench and you put an armrest in the middle of it, it makes it pretty impossible to sleep on it. It also, that middle armrest makes it easier for older folks or folks who aren't as mobile to lift themselves up off the bench. I've used individual seats, 2 seats in a pair with an occasional table in between. So there's a lot of variety that we can look at, and we'll be interested in getting your feedback on that. I will say that I've gone by any number of times during the day, during work hours, and I'd be reluctant to go in a number of those times because of adults hanging out.
Yeah.
Jeffrey has his hand up. Jeffrey, you can unmute yourself.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. Jeff Bynoe. This is my mother's park. I work with Russ. I work at the Yawkey Club in Roxbury, but I do a foundation, a program in my mother's name, and I do programs down in her park. I do basketball, baseball, flag football for the kids in the community. I've been doing it for years, and I believe, like Russ said, safety is the biggest issue. I haven't done it in a while because I've gotten older and I got married with children. But safety is the biggest issue down there, and keeping the place clean. Because I know when I did my basketball and baseball and flag football program, me and the coaches would come in there and clean before we played, and check the ground and stuff like that. I think lighting would be great at night, because I know a couple of my younger boys are trying to do what I've done down there, because I can't come down there now. But they always talk about, Jeff, it's dirty. It's always dirty when they go down there in the morning. It's great. It's well overdue, because I know my aunt been fighting for this for years. Getting that park fixed up. But the park, the playground, the basketball court, the baseball field, everything to get fixed up. And it's just a blessing to see that this is finally coming through. Thank you.
Well, it's a real honor to have you on the call. Thank you for and I think that this is great information for us to have in terms of the safety concerns and the cleanliness and the unappealing to adults and really focused on children. I mean, I think we could definitely have that's given me some ideas, and I think the design team with Annie and with Michael.
Also, I think that the more kids we get in there, the fewer sort of stray adults will get in there.
Right. Yeah.
Val has her hand up, guys.
Oh.
Val.
Yes. I apologize. For some reason, I couldn't link myself to the Zoom.
I am not tech savvy, believe
You've
me.
joined us now.
You're here
Yeah.
now. You remembered all
Yeah.
the numbers. I would have not been able to figure that out.
No, I wrote them down. Believe me, I wrote them down. But I just want to say, my name is Valerie Shelley. I'm the president of the board here at Orchard Gardens. I am also Edna Bynoe's sister.
Oh,
We both were raised in Orchard Park. Edna was the one that got that development changed to Orchard Gardens, which I now reside and been residing here since the change has been made. I've been fighting to get our park done. They did do the basketball court over finally, but we're still having problems with finding needles in our park. We have a little water faucet that the homeless are now washing themselves. And now we're having what I call our interlopers, and I call them gang members because that's what they are. They're the ones that bring havoc to our communities, are starting to hang in there at night. As a matter of fact, I just did a notice to the residents to make sure they call 911 when they see these things and not just call me. My concern with the park is that our kids do use it, but it's an awful park. It's awful. And I ride around the city and I see the parks that have been done, and I say, when are we next? I've been fighting to get this done for the last 10 years. I'm glad we're finally on board with this, but I want to make sure that we, the residents, have a say on what is brought to our park, what it would look like, and how it would service our youth and our seniors. So we have to also look out for the seniors who like to sit at the bench, crochet, watch the kids, or just sit out and get some fresh air. So that's my thoughts on that. And I appreciate the city finally coming through. And can someone tell me when this exactly would happen? How long? Does anybody know?
I should know that, but I haven't been at the department long enough to know the history behind it. I think that part of it might have been a lack of staffing. You know, I feel very lucky to have this job. I was in my former job for a long time, but of course I live in Boston, and I want to be helping my city, and I want to be helping neighborhoods where it's really going to make a difference. And I wish I could tell you more about the history of why it took so long, but we're on our way now. So it's exciting. And also, Val, I wanted to thank you for mentioning the gangs. So we'll make sure that in the colors that we choose for the play equipment and the site furniture, that we don't use any of the gang colors.
Yes. Yes. Also, if you notice what our houses look like, Edna made sure that we didn't have bricks. Our houses are yellow, all bright colors. So we wanted to change the look of Orchard Park to Orchard Gardens, and we want to keep that up.
It's
not
very
just for her,
inviting.
but all the residents that stayed and fought to make this community better for us.
I understand.
Now, we did meet with city folks from Parks and Recreation about 8 years ago. They came out, did a walk through the park with us, and promised that we would get it done. Then I guess you all had some changes in personnel, because I know how the turnover is not just for the city, but other places. But I kept pushing and pushing, but I'm glad we're finally coming to an end. And as soon as you could find out when this actually would take place, it would be helpful for us so we can get residents involved.
Oh, you got the schedule. Do you want to, now you're on the phone, but Michael, does it make sense to flip back to the calendar so we could tell you that verbally and just the folks from the Zoom call could see it again? Because it's a pretty fast turnaround. Is that right, Annie?
It is. You know, one alternative might be, Val, because I have your email address.
Yeah,
we're recording the Zoom and I could send you this.
that would be helpful. That would definitely be helpful. And I can play it from my board too, and we can all
Oh,
look
that
at
would
it
be,
and
that
hear
would
it.
be fantastic.
Yeah, I think that would be great. No, I think this is, I mean, I'm just really impressed by the folks who are on the call, and your input is really, really important. The gang thing, I mean, I get the methadone mile, I get the adults, I get the needles. The gang thing, is that like they're there every night, or what sort, they use it for meetings, or what do you think's what?
Well, see, the gang thing, it varies. They move from area to area. When the security comes around, they move from one part of the development to the other. They've been using Keegan because that's so off the point as one of their viewpoints. We're meeting with Boston Police and our security force to come up with a plan to try to knock that in the bud. We did have a police officer from B2 out here last night that sat for about an hour and watched the activity. So they were able to take down license plates and stuff. So we're working on that aspect. I also sent a notice out to residents that's going out with our newsletter to make sure they call 911 when they see things, and our security when they see things. We have security on from 6 in the evening to 2 in the morning. But that's only 2 guys in there for the whole development, we have 331 units.
Wow.
Throughout this whole development. So it's not just like the park in that area. There's a lot of grounds to cover.
Can I ask, that for the security thing is really important. I mean, making a beautiful playground is the fun part, and we know we can do that. The security, I'm thinking holistically, security cameras in the development.
Yes, we do have cameras throughout the development.
And in the park, Annie, does Boston have a program of security cameras in parks? Because I know I've worked in other parks.
No, that would be the city. We don't put cameras in the park. We can't do that, but we do have cameras on facing our housing.
Michael, that's something we would have to work with the police department to try to put up cameras.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a
program is through the police department.
Yeah, it's a, and the other question I have is people who've seen how it's being used, especially for the people that are not using it as a playground or a park. Right now, there's that low fence, which is around the playground features, and then there's, the equipment, and then there's, the area between the courts and things. I'm just wondering if the fact that there's a little fence there do they stay out of the playground, or do they just actually hang out on the equipment?
No, they're not actually in the playground. They're in the baseball field on the bleachers area, or on the basketball court.
Yeah, that side. That makes
or even
sense.
the tennis court area.
Okay.
So they're not actually in our park, the little park where the kids play.
Okay. Because that, like we talked about.
That's what we're finding. That's what we're finding. The homeless people sleep overnight.
They're sleeping on the benches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or even let me tell you, they had tents in our park. And we had to cut down the bushes. We had the city cut down the bushes that were in the park because they had tents around there.
So I know, like at Orchard Garden School, we actually had to get taller fences all around the school so they're not on our property. And that has helped us tremendously because like now they're in our parking lot where we park, but okay, that's better than where the kids are. But I feel like there has been measures that have lessened that. And I feel also that there's walking beats, like there's certain things that can be done to keep it safe, like through regular city things that are already happening that will be helpful. I think making like entrance just not accessible to like a whole cart that you can wheel like a shopping cart in, you know, and stuff like that. It has to be designed that it's only letting like a stroller or maybe a wheelchair the most to come through, but not for people to be wheeling these big things that they're carrying their whole belongings with to find a place to be secluded. I think the location of how the park is on the perimeter outside and in the streetway, that doesn't let people be there, but I think there's been some measures that have really helped.
Yeah. And I also think that once this playground's up, the more our residents use the park and more people out, I think that will deter from those folks hanging in the park also. We need to take our parks and our communities back.
Yes.
I agree
yes,
with that,
yes,
Val.
yes.
Yeah. You know,
So once it is safe for them to go out there, you'll find that people will start using that park. I mean, we have right now, softball has started, baseball, and they're out there every week and Sundays, weeknights, Saturdays. I think there's 2 or 3 games that go on, and we haven't had any problems, thank God. So when it's being used, they're not there. So that's what I want to see. I want to see our parks being used by our residents, and we will keep out that riffraff.
Yeah, you're absolutely right that positive activities drive out negative activities. And also what you just said is an indicator to me that I should take a look at the park when it's dark out and see what lighting is already there.
Well, I know they did add lighting, like on the tennis court, the basketball court, the baseball court, but I'm not sure how much lighting is in that playground area and that back area that leads into the playground, like from Du Bois and Keegan, from that end.
And I would think that what we'd want to do is, if we do need to add additional lighting, is take the tree cover into account and also make sure that we're not shining lights in the adjacent houses.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So Valerie, if you can, I just want to get sure I got my facts straight. You're saying that basically the security detail that you guys have from Orchard Gardens is at night from like 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. or what? When do you?
No. It's 6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Okay, it's from 6 p.m. to 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Okay. And then, okay, that's what I wanted. And then did you say, Valerie, that that the problem with the riffraff or the gang, you don't see homeless, you see homeless in the playground area, where you get the kind of riffraff is up by the tennis courts, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, mostly the homeless we find now like are on Ziegler Street and Harrison Ave, where they're coming from Dudley.
Yeah.
So there's a little park on Winslow and Ziegler Street that they use, and then they use our porches. I mean, you'd be surprised how many residents have to call to get them off our porches.
Wow.
That run along Ziegler and Harrison Ave.
And this is the methadone mile, folks?
Yeah, methadone mile, or wherever you want to call them. There's a Dudley. I'm not sure if the methadone mile and the Dudley mile is the same thing.
Okay, the Dudley mile, right? Because okay, right. Okay.
So you have a mixture of both.
And to me, it sounds like, if I'm gonna be just to talk about like the different sort of folks, it's like you get the methadone mile, Dudley mile folks, and then you get the gangs, and those are two different groups.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, okay, how do we not invite either of those people to come in here?
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. I like the lighting idea. I like the security camera idea. I'm actually not too far tonight. I can't do it, but I'm going to swing by at night and take a look at that, Annie, because I can or if you and I want to come out, you know, I'll pick you up in the south end and we could drive out and just cruise around in my car.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. You know,
Okay.
Scope it out. So we'll just set up a time sometime. I mean, now, of course, it's light till 9 o'clock at night. So it's not, I mean, and the other thing I have a question for you folks is it like, is wintertime worse? Is summertime, fall? Is there like a,
No, let me
you know-
tell you, the worst
Summer.
time is this time right now, from the spring through the fall. This is the worst time.
oh, okay. Why do you think that is?
Because they're out. And in the winter time, we see them, but they're in their cars and they're not hanging
Yeah.
out because it's too cold. They don't want to get
Yeah.
cold. Are you kidding?
And the gang members generally come out.
So they
And
in
they
the
actually
winter
have them
time
in
they
the
stay
summer.
in. They mostly stay in their cars, or they drive into our little parking lots. Not the big parking lots. The parking lots beside the houses. Some houses have individual parking, like for 2 cars.
Yeah.
And if there's an empty unit, they seem to know where the empty units are, and they'll use that space. And then they drive up and down our streets, double park. You'll see them coming through. Security got our security actually, the guy that leads our security actually watches the cameras during the day. He's not even on. So we have footage that we send in to Boston police and the drug units to show them. So they have license plate cards. They have pictures of the guys. And most of the Boston police know who these people are. Most of them that have been locked up. Now they're out. And that's another problem. We had a big bust about 5 or 6 years ago, and most of them were locked up. In the last 18 months, they have been releasing them. And of course, we got to have a new crew too. So we got the new crew and the old crew. That's about the brunt of it.
And it's the gangs, the guys in the gangs who are in the cars. In the summertime, they come out, they're not in the cars. Because the homeless basically don't have cars, right?
No, they don't have, no. The homeless people to me are not, they're a problem, but they're not a safety problem as far as guns. Because thank God I'm knocking on wood. I'm going to be knocking on my head in a minute. That we haven't had any shootings down here. If you notice, throughout the city's been a lot of shootings, but
Oh, yeah.
we have been lucky. And we're trying to keep that down by keeping them out of here. Because what these gang members do, they put themselves on Facebook so everybody knows where they are. So then you have these drive-by shootings. And that's throughout the city.
Right. So that's, yeah, no, this is no, Valerie, this is very helpful. Did we lose Russell? Did Russell go away? Maybe he had to go away. Okay.
Yeah, we lost him.
Okay. No, this is valuable. Thank you for, and this is just the right people too, to kind of speak up.
Oh, you don't have to worry about me not speaking up. I won't shut up.
Well, don't worry. I'm not shy either. You don't have to notice. Yeah, unfortunately, my colleague's like, oh God, it's Ricardo again,
Well, I'm hoping my input is helpful, and we definitely want to be a part of this.
Yeah, no, I guess, and well, that's terrific. I think this is really terrific. This is great. I've got a question. Is Zoom I know you had a hard time tonight. Is Zoom generally a good?
No, I don't usually have a problem, but when I went on to the Zoom and I said to join, I went to join, and then it said you are not this is for authorized. And then I tried to sign in. They said sign in with your email. I tried to sign in again, and it wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, like
I've
I
never
said to you,
had that.
yeah, Val, I'm not sure why I did that because the way I set it up, like I told you in the email exchange, I set it up to have no restriction. So I'll look into that again to make sure it doesn't happen for the next meeting. But I really don't know why it happened this time.
Yeah, but it didn't happen with Lisa. And I'm wondering it's because I was late signing on.
That shouldn't be a problem. Yeah,
You would think, but
yeah, you would think, I'm not sure. But well, hopefully next time it doesn't happen that way for the next meeting.
yeah, oh, definitely. That means if I have to sit with Lisa, I have to sit with Lisa. She won't mind.
No, I can come.
As long as you're there.
Lisa is the tech queen of Orchard.
I can come to you the next time if need be, Val.
So when is our next meeting? Is that scheduled?
Yeah,
It's not scheduled yet, but it'll
Oh,
be,
okay.
we got to get to work. See, this is just a meet and greet, and this is the social hour. Now we got to get.
Oh, okay.
We got to get busy now.
Okay, well, anytime you need our input, we're welcome. And you are welcome to come to meet at our office. We're all been vaccinated. The whole board has been vaccinated. So you all had our 2 shots.
So is this at your office is at Orchard Gardens? Where's your office?
Yeah, at 25 Ambrose.
25
In
Ambrose?
the old Dearborn School building.
Oh, is that the old Dearborn? Is that the boys club? No,
No, across from there, across from the new school, you see like an old school building.
uh-huh.
That was the Dearborn when I went there.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful building, an old brick building.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's where a lot of our seniors and handicapped live.
Oh, okay. All right, so yeah.
And our
all right.
office is in that building along with the management office.
Okay, let me look. Yeah, okay. So that's 25. What was the name of the
Ambrose.
Ambrose. Okay,
Ambrose. Ambrose.
got it.
And we're on the 2nd floor.
2nd floor, got it.
Now we're not there every day, so you need to let us know when you're coming, so we will be there.
Excellent. Orchard Gardens.
But this board is not a paid board. We're volunteers.
Oh yeah. No.
So we're not on 9 to 5. We're on as needed.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you know, our community is needed, so we're there available all the time.
Great. That's good.
Well, does anybody have anything else?
No, we're excited that this is happening.
Well,
I just
this
want to
is-
thank you guys, and I appreciate you all finally coming to Orchard.
Yes.
And whatever we can do to help swing this, please count us in.
Oh
We
my,
will lead on you.
Yeah, and we're excited to have you as partners. This is great.
I love this. I mean, you like the energy is just awesome because we thought, oh, who's going to show up tonight? Is anybody? I was like, oh my God, I hope somebody shows up because I'm sick of looking at Michael all day long.
Oh, I
Michael's really sick of me. No, I'll tell you that.
want to thank you all so much for your